Hi, folks. Welcome to the 2025 annual meeting for Conservation Society of California and Oakland Zoo. We're going to wait a few moments to let all of our friends gather here on the Zoom webinar. And in the meantime, please enjoy this welcome from the Zoo family.
Oakland Zoo has once again been recognized as a world-class facility when it comes to animal care, education, and conservation. For the 36th year in a row, the zoo has received accreditation from the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, what is considered the gold standard for facilities.
Australia is now in the care of the zoo's veterinary hospital.
Bison from the Oakland Zoo, they're head back to Montana to help them restore bison to their native area.
Thank you, folks. Thanks again for joining Oakland Zoo's annual meeting this evening. We are going to get started, and don't worry if you missed some of the opening sizzle reel, as we call it. We will play that again at the end. We will be using a couple of functions during this webinar. You can use the chat all evening if you'd like to share any comments or questions, and then we will be using the poll function for our formal votes. So just look out for those on your screen as we go. And with that, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce Kathy Langridge and Ella Jean Grossman, our co-chairs for the Board of Trustees. They will be leading us in our board business this evening. Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you, Kristen. Welcome to the Oakland Zoo's annual membership meeting. I am now formally calling this meeting to order. Whether you're a member, donor, volunteer, staff, or community member, we want to thank all of you for your support and your commitment to the zoo. I'm Kathy Langridge, co-chair of the Board of Trustees, and my co-chair, Ella Jean Grossman, will be our co-host during tonight's meeting. We have a great agenda. First, there's going to be a few governance items to take care of, including your approval of last year's minutes. We have a slate of trustees to be approved and recognition of departing trustees. Then our Chief Executive Officer, Nik Dehejia, will give his State of the Zoo report and share about our new conservation strategy. Our Director of Volunteer Services, Lisa O'Dwyer, will recognize our volunteers who have helped the Oakland Zoo advance our mission. And Ella Jean's going to help close out the festivities. And it's all happening tonight, so stay with us. Our first order of business is to approve the minutes from our last annual meeting, which was January 31st, 2024. The link to the minutes was provided ahead of this evening in accordance with the Brown Act, and you'll also find a link to the minutes provided via our chat and Q&A on this webinar. So I hereby move to approve the minutes of our January 31st, 2024 meeting via public poll. May I have a second to this motion?
This is Ella Jean, and I second.
Thank you, Ella Jean. All of those in favor of approving the minutes, please vote yes. Those opposed to approving the minutes, please vote no. All those abstaining, please vote abstain. And we'll leave the poll open for a few minutes. Okay. We also welcome public comments during this meeting. You may add your comments and questions, Kristen mentioned this, in the chat at any point during the meeting. One of the Oakland Zoo staff members is helping us to review and provide the responses. We are fortunate to have community members who volunteer to serve as trustees. They provide oversight, expertise, resources, and moral support for the zoo. Our annual meeting marks the start of 3-year terms for brand new trustees, second terms for some trustees, and the end of terms for others. It also has new leadership roles for officers and committee chairs. Ella Jean is going to lead us in the trustee election.
The proposed slate for 2025 is here for your reference and was also provided ahead of time on the zoo website in accordance with the Brown Act. The version of the slate on the website also shows our officers and committee chairs. We will be welcoming Patrick Sherwood as our new co-chair, who will lead in partnership with me this year. I would like to propose a motion for our members to approve the election of 2 new trustees, Mitty Grigsby and Denise Ramsey.
This is Kathy Langridge, and I will second the motion.
We are again voting via poll. All those in favor of approving the 2 new trustees, please vote yes. All those opposed to approving the 2 new trustees, please vote no. All those abstaining, please vote abstain. We will leave the poll open for about 30 seconds. Thank you. As you wrap up the first vote, I would like to propose a motion for our members to approve the election of our second-term trustees. They are Jennifer Delaney, Artie Sablock, and Fiona Tang.
This is Kathy Langridge. I will second the motion.
All those in favor of approving the second-term trustees, please vote yes. All those opposed to approving the two-term trustees, please vote no. All those abstaining, please vote abstain. We will leave the poll open for about 30 seconds. Now that the vote has been taken and the trustees slate approved, I would like to congratulate all our new and continuing trustees. Thank you for your service. I will hand it back to Kathy to recognize our departing trustee, Kevin Rodriguez.
Thank you, Ella Jean. As you just saw, the new incoming trustees this year, we also have a trustee who has completed his term of service. I want to recognize trustee Kevin Rodriguez, who has given the zoo so much of his time, energy, and resources. Kevin, thank you so much for your leadership and service. It has been a pleasure to serve with you, and we look forward to keeping you engaged at the zoo. I would like to also formally recognize and thank our two co-chairs for 2025, Ella Jean Grossman and Patrick Sherwood. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our Chief Executive Officer, Nik Dehejia. Nik has served in this role since 2021 and has led us through some exciting initiatives, including winning a City of Oakland parcel tax measure in 2022 with 63% of voter approval, a comprehensive strategic planning process in 2023, and a major transition for our elephant herd in the last 18 months. Nik, we're excited to hear your state of the zoo.
Hi, good evening, everybody, and thank you for being here tonight. And thank you, Kathy. I do need to say, Kathy, I know as of tonight, you're wrapping up your 2-year term as board co-chair, and personally, your leadership on the board, your financial expertise, how calm and collaborative you are, especially during these challenging times, have been incredibly wonderful assets to me and certainly the entire board. I know you're not going forward, and we look forward to your continued board service. I also want to thank certainly our zoo staff. They are here 365 days of the year, just doing incredible work. We have roughly 400 staff at the Oakland Zoo who are putting in an incredible amount of time, whether we're open to the public or not. And I'm inspired and humbled by the incredible diversity of skills that they all display across so many different functions, not just in animal or veterinary care, as you may see, but all of those other functions that are behind the scenes. Hopefully that slide is going to come up here, because I do want to show you the photos of all these amazing staff, and thank you to all of you for being part of the zoo family. It certainly makes me deeply proud to be in this role, to be here for the last 18 years, and in this role as CEO over the last 4 years. I also want to thank and recognize a lot of our community and business members, agencies, nonprofits that we collaborate with. We're so proud and so deeply and fiercely proud to be part of the Oakland community. It really is in our blood, and certainly the greater East Bay. Obviously, you're going to see just a few of the organizations we collaborate with here. All the way on the upper left-hand corner, you've got the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, and you probably saw some news today that we rescued some mountain lions. On the other end of the spectrum, locally, Oakland Animal Services, really important when we're doing dog and cat rescue. And then our newer partners, the Oakland Ballers, an Oakland baseball team, and the Oakland Puzzle Company, a fun partnership that we've developed. It's so important to us to be part of this community in so many different ways. And certainly that community extends internationally as well. So I want to touch a little bit on 2024, and you saw that in the hopefully in the video that was playing. we had a significant win, which was our accreditation. This is an incredible work and effort to be accredited by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. There's only about 250 in the United States, and this is our 36th year running of accreditation. As you can imagine, like universities and other institutions, earning accreditation relies on our investing continuously in the improvement of the zoos, guests, and our animals and our staffing. And here you see up on the slide, rebuilding our really proudly the McCarthy Lion Deck here on the upper left. As you can imagine, this was destroyed during the storms and the sinkhole that you all remember from a couple of years ago. But completing this application and inspection process is so involved, and the entire zoo community spent many hours helping us get through this process. So I'm proud to say we're accredited and will remain accredited for the next 5 years. Now, as I think about a number of numbers of all the fun that we have had at the zoo, I'll hit on some of these as we go forward, but I just want to say a few things. 972,000 people coming to the zoo. Thank you. Thank you for that deep love that you have for the zoo and for this institution, now 102 years old. I also want to thank those volunteers, and you'll hear about it later this evening. 82,000 volunteer hours, just absolutely incredible. We could not do it without the volunteers. And then a number of other numbers that we'll talk about. The animals that we rescue, the animals that are here on our campus, all very important. And we'll touch on that as we go forward. You know, I do need to talk about the transition of our elephant program, as you see a video playing here. After a long search for a companion in our industry for Osh, our male elephant, we ultimately decided that the best thing for him was to be with other elephants. And here is the drive that you're seeing leaving Oakland, going to the incredible elephant sanctuary in Tennessee, where he has social opportunities and the incredible care that he's used to here and will have and has had in a much larger facility in Tennessee. Our animal and veterinary care team did an incredible job preparing him. As you can see, feeding him through this 40-hour drive to Tennessee, months of training. And here he is coming out of that trailer and just walking into this incredible habitat, meeting the other elephants that are there. This was so important to us for his social well-being. And so we're so glad he's thriving today, and you can see him as well on the cameras at the Tennessee Elephant Sanctuary that they have on their website. Thank you to all of our donors and supporters. Over $500,000 raised to help fund this move for Osh. Couldn't be prouder. And we will continue to do this work for elephant conservation in the wild. Thank you to all of you who helped us there. And as I mentioned, Osh is doing incredibly well. There are videos of him socializing with his other African elephants here right now across a fence line. But this is the type of behavior and interactions that we're so proud of. I do want to acknowledge, you know, we sent Donna, our other African female elephant, to the sanctuary in 2023. As I think you all know, she unfortunately passed away on Christmas Eve morning. We're certainly mourning her loss and recognizing and feeling comfort that, you know, she had a wonderful place to be in her final year. And as you know, our elephant habitat here at the Oakland Zoo is now empty. We're engaging in a long-range planning process this spring and really thinking hard and deeply about what we want to do there, what's the right species that we would love to join the zoo. As I think about our elephant habitat here, I also want to talk about the renovations that are happening and other exciting renovations happening here to improve the lives of our existing animal residents. So up on the California Trail, we're just finishing the expansion of our jaguar habitat. You can see a photo of Emma and Luca here, just thoroughly enjoying their companionship. And I do want to thank the support from Erica Brevet-Stott and Robert Stott to support this expansion. You know, we're really hoping that Emma and Luca will have cubs together and can spend more time in this expanded facility. So not just with jaguars, chimps is another priority for us here as well. Over the past 12 to 18 months, we've been enhancing the chimp habitat, first adding a large access gate that you saw in the prior photo in the mural, but bringing in our ability to bring in heavy equipment, and then installing, as you can see here, large climbing structures, platforms. This is doubling the square footage of the living space for our chimpanzees. We've been planting an enrichment and edible wall right in front, and the chimps have access to that. And we have additional funding here to install heaters in the outdoor space so the chimps have choice to be outside during the colder weather. So we are definitely taking a lot of time to make improvements in our existing facilities. And as we think about not just here in Oakland, but we are across the world taking care of chimps in Uganda. And that has been a significant amount of work through our conservation leadership here at the zoo. I want to acknowledge Amy Gottlieb as our Vice President of Conservation and her staff member, Adrian Miersny. Both of them returned just recently from an incredible trip to witness the impact and the growth of our work in Uganda, in the Kabale forest there to help chimpanzees, and also working with the community. This is so much about building partnerships with the community, for the community, built up through the community. That's really how this conservation work happens. And we have a long decade of history with these communities, and we're standing with them day in and day out to ensure they can have that positive change for wildlife and the people who coexist within them. So a deeply powerful, and we'll certainly let you know the next time we go back out there to bring everybody together. We're also really proud to have helped a new center, a new community and education center in Queen Elizabeth Park in Uganda as well, in collaboration with our friends of the New Nature Foundation and the Kisenyi Lodge that is there. If you saw in the early photo, Amy Gottlieb, our VP of Conservation, had the opportunity to cut a ribbon of this new facility to support the long-term strategy for coexistence with lions in the area. And this collaboration in the community center is the result of many, many years of planning. And we're so proud of that work. Again, look at all these children dancing and having fun. That's what makes us so proud. We're not coming in to tell them what to do. We're working actively and cooperatively with them and are so proud to support that work. Well, now I want to touch on the other work that we're involved in. As you know, the Oakland Zoo has proudly been rescuing animals for many, many years. More recently, we've actually been sharing these stories. Many of these animals that call the zoo home, their forever home, are coming because of the illegal private ownership, confiscation from the wildlife trade, or just the horrid and inappropriate conditions that they're living in. We're deeply proud that in the last year, we joined the Wildlife Confiscation Network. It's a public-private partnership between the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and our accrediting and national body, the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, specifically in California to support these animals that are often brutally victimized by this trade. And unfortunately, it is one of the largest black markets globally. The zoo has been rescuing animals for decades. And again, as I said, we have been starting to talk about a little bit more, and expanding our rescue and our welfare work is part of our strategic plan as we go forward. Since joining this confiscation network, just last year, we've treated over 100 animals at the zoo who are coming through this trade and looking for permanent homes for many of these who we cannot keep here. And you see photos of a young tiger that we brought in last spring, illegally owned, bone fracture, serious malnutrition, and we were able to treat and move her on, and a spider monkey that you probably heard of more recently. This was, a crazy story of a spider monkey that was caught in the Fresno area, smuggled in illegally, obviously. But, that story which received a lot of press, didn't really talk about what is so important here. This spider monkey should never have been in that situation, hauled away, mother likely shot, and just dragged out of its home, away from its family, to be trafficked for someone's personal enjoyment. Thankfully, the spider monkey was confiscated by the Highway Patrol, and we're really proud of that. So a tremendous amount of work that we're doing around the rescue of animals. It's not just about animals. It is about people as well. And when you look at the incredibly happy photos here of our zoo campers coming to the zoo throughout the year, but mostly in the summertime, we're really proud this year to hire for the first time an inclusion specialist staff. This is someone who can support campers with different needs. It opened up the opportunity for many children who weren't able to participate in our camps and to provide a safe place for families and a supportive place for them to have a place for their children to go. We're really proud. 78 scholarships were given. So many of our families have challenges with financial access to zoo camp, and 78 scholarships were provided to families with socioeconomic needs. We know how challenging it is for working parents. We saw that through the pandemic, but to have an opportunity for them to feel safe with their kids here, we were really proud of that, to be part of that as well. I want to take a moment to thank our volunteers and a bit of transition here. Our volunteers are absolutely amazing. And thank you for those of you who are on tonight, certainly our Board of Trustees, but the incredible other volunteers that we have. Over 650 of you, year-round volunteers. We have about 400 staff, and we have many more volunteers. We could not truly do this work without your support. And the volunteers that are here are across all areas of the zoo, whether it's in animal care, the interpretation in front of the public, our docents, our teen wild guides, the volunteers who support in our horticulture, in our grounds, and many other areas that so many of our volunteers have specialized expertise and are lending their time. We launched a new volunteer program last year focused on guest engagement. It's called the Zoo Ambassadors, or ZAM program. We hope this program, and it already is, opening up new opportunities to volunteer at the zoo. And we're really excited about this growth. And hopefully these zoo ambassadors can become docents as well. So thank you. Speaking of docents, wow, 50 years of the docent program. 2024 was the 50th anniversary, half a century of commitment to public education at the zoo. One of our founding members, Joanne Harley, I don't know if she's on tonight, but I can't thank you enough. Your unwavering commitment and foresight to create this program 50 years ago, and you are still involved today at the zoo. So proud of that. With that, I'm really also proud to introduce Lisa O'Dwyer. She is the Director of Volunteer Services, who will share more of the achievements of our volunteers and what they have enabled us to be able to do. Thanks, Lisa. Take it away.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lisa O'Dwyer, and I'm the Director of Volunteer Services here at the Oakland Zoo. Tonight, we are so pleased to be able to share some of the highlights from our volunteer program. We have 656 amazing, passionate, and dedicated year-round volunteers here at the Oakland Zoo. Last year, they donated 82,703 hours of service. That's equivalent to 39 full-time employees and a cost savings to the zoo of just under $2 million. In addition to our year-round volunteers, we also have community volunteers that come to the zoo to work on a 3-hour habitat restoration or landscape management project with our animal care and horticulture departments. 1,218 community volunteers from a variety of organizations, businesses, schools, churches, and clubs donated 3,743 hours of service. This is equivalent to 1.5 full-time employees and an additional cost savings of $82,000. We are so thankful that all of our volunteers choose to give their time and talents to us each year. The Docent First Year All-Star Award was presented to Anne Marie Tucker for completing an excellent first year as a docent from the docent class of 2023. She often takes shifts in the petting yard and volunteers cheerfully on the busiest of days. We appreciate her work, warmly greeting the guests while also ensuring the safety of people and animals. Within her first year as a docent, she built positive relationships with animal care staff and other volunteers, culminating in working with our primary keeper, Kyle, to present a lunch and learn on the petting yard. In addition to her extensive service there, Anne Marie participates in the Zoo Kids program, engaging 5- and 6-year-olds with lessons on various topics such as types of beaks, hibernation, and habitats. In less than 2 years as a docent, she has donated over 800 hours to the Oakland Zoo. We are proud to award the First Year All-Star Award to Anne Marie Tucker. The Docent of the Year Award was awarded to Suzanne Rudisill. She became a docent in 2015. She started volunteering at the zoo 2 years before that as a part of the behavior observation team. She has collaborated with the learning and engagement staff to assemble special packets of our zoo trading cards for visitors that are coming to celebrate their birthday or a first visit. She carries them with her in the zoo and delights our visitors every day. She extends kindness to all areas of the zoo. She often brings fresh baked goods for the front gate security guard, drops off toilet paper, enrichment supplies for animal care staff, contributes cuttings of succulents to the horticulture department, and collects fruits and vegetables from multiple markets to donate to the commissary team. She has donated over 2,000 hours of service to the Oakland Zoo. We are so grateful to her and have awarded her the Docent of the Year Award. The Volunteer of the Year Award was presented to Pam Pearson. Pam was nominated by Animal Care Staff Commissary Supervisor and Zoo Chef Stacy Kiles. Pam has been an animal care volunteer for over 10 years, and she is now the longest serving volunteer at the commissary. She started out cutting produce for elephants. While commissary keepers usually ask volunteers to cut 6 5-gallon buckets of produce, that is not a small feat. Pam became so proficient that she could fill 12 buckets. This allowed staff to reallocate their time and do other duties. Pam has become one of the people most familiar with preparing diets for rabbits, lemurs, guinea hogs, and bats. When Commissary Supervisor Stacy has absences from the zoo, she is confident animals will be provided proper diets as long as Pam is around. We are proud to have presented Pam the Volunteer of the Year Award.
Hi, I'm Jessie. I'm the Teen Programs Manager, and I'm so excited to announce that our first ever Teen Wild Guide of the Year is Abby Lewis. She's been a twig for over 4 years and has served over 400 hours with the program. Abby was nominated by multiple people, both peers and other staff, and to quote one of her peers, she's the perfect recipient for the first Twig of the Year award because of her incredible knowledge of zoo animal information and how kind she is to her fellow twigs. Just by talking to Abby, you can tell she has a real passion for animal education, and she really embodies what it means to be a model twig. Congrats, Abby. We love having you in the Teen Wild Guide program.
Good evening, everyone. My name
Well, that was fantastic. And thank you again to all of our volunteers. I just want to say I had the opportunity to go and be there with the Teen Wild Guides and to see all these incredible young adults so energized and excited to be at the zoo. And these are our future leaders. And so congratulations to Abby as well. And certainly to the entire volunteer services team. Really appreciate the work that you do as well to support all of our volunteers. So looking ahead, obviously we've covered a little bit, just a snapshot of some of the highlights of 2024. I want to talk a little bit about how we go forward and what we're thinking about in 2025. Our strategic plan priorities, you might remember that last year, the zoo adopted a new strategic plan with these 4 priorities that you can see here. And this strategic plan was developed recognizing that we had recently won Measure Y in the city of Oakland, a parcel tax measure to support the zoo. And I think there was a chat comment asking about the status of Measure Y. Measure Y was going to bring us nearly $300 million over the next 20 years to really expand our financial viability at the zoo. At this moment, Measure Y is still under a lawsuit. Rest assured, the taxes are being collected. They're being safely guarded in a special account at the city of Oakland, but we are now over 2 years in a lawsuit. I want to assure you, we have won our first battle at the trial court this past year, but it was unfortunately appealed. And so we are going into the next court battle as well. This lawsuit was brought by the Alameda County Taxpayers Association. At the end of the day, I'm confident that the zoo will win this. And unfortunately, this frivolous action and lawsuit that's taking place. So we are in a bit of a legal limbo right now with Measure Y, but we have made progress. Rest assured, we have made progress despite not having access to these incredibly important funds that we're looking forward to receiving real soon. We hope to resolve this by the end of 2025, but as you know, the legal and judicial calendars move slowly. But with that, let me talk about a few of the things that we are doing. One of our first priorities, inspiring action for animals and the planet. You know, our learning and engagement team is incredibly important in what they do and the work that they do tremendously with the Oakland Unified School District and those kids who want to learn. Really proud to get a grant from the Institute of Museum and Library Services last year to engage our local community in conservation action. Incredibly important. You know, there's so many kids who live just near the zoo and are unable to come up to the zoo. And so we partnered with an after-school program that's very close to the zoo called Frick United Academy of Language. You know, the zoo is in the heart of Oakland, and yet so many of these students, including students at Frick, have not been able to come. But this is a multi-year program with the Oakland Unified School District students and the teachers of Frick to design a conservation project in a way that would support community and wildlife. And we're really excited to work with the school. And I want to thank our learning and engagement team, especially Ashley and Miranda, who are actively working on this project right now. And the other thing that we're working on, in fact, rolling out pretty soon in the next week or so, is a new admissions access program. We're calling it Bay to Zoo to provide deeper discounted admission to families with socioeconomic need in the Bay Area. This program should reach tens of thousands of individuals. And, you know, once Measure Y increased funding comes through, we'll be able to expand that even more. So we're doing the best we can right now to continue to reach the people that need and want to come to the zoo. You know, our second priority is about expanding leadership in animal care, well-being, and welfare. You know, we are constantly striving to develop new standards in care and welfare, numerous research papers and presentations that we've been a part of. It is very core to who we are as the Oakland Zoo. You know that it's what makes so many of us so proud to work here. And so this year we'll continue to make investments in our animal habitats, a few that I'd mentioned earlier for their well-being, but we're also working, as you come to the zoo, you'll see a new camel shade structure that is going up right now, improvements to our contact yard with our goats and sheep in the children's zoo, and looking at expanding the holding space for our baboons as well. The leadership in our animal care division led by Colleen Kinsley, who's been here for over 35 years, and our learning and engagement teams are working together on welfare standards now for our ambassador animals, those animals that go out into the community and provide an educational role as well. And of course, hopefully you're used to our vet tales on social media every Friday, thanks to the incredible work of our veterinary team and our marketing team that creates the content. We're actively still using that incredible CT scan for diagnostics and preventative care for over 850 of our animal family at the zoo. I mentioned earlier, we are looking ahead as well. This spring, we're going to be launching into a long-range facilities planning process for the zoo. Certainly, the elephant habitat is open right now, but as we think about our role, what does the zoo look like in 20, 30, or 50 years? a rescue organization, a zoo, a conservation organization, taking this moment to really be reflective and think about what we want to be for decades to come in the community of Oakland and the greater East Bay as well. And, priority 3, I couldn't be, as I look at this picture of Dr. Jane Goodall, what an incredible pleasure to have her at the zoo, and thrilled to share with you that we're launching a new dedicated conservation strategic plan that focuses our work for wildlife in the coming years, and 3 key pillars that we're working on with 10 priority species that I want to touch on. As you see here, this plan has these 3 pillars, 3 areas of work: species and habitat protection, wildlife trade, wildlife mitigation, and coexistence, human-wildlife coexistence. These areas combine and leverage all of our expertise in building alliances, in engaging communities in conservation, in stopping and interrupting and educating about the wildlife trade and trafficking, and all of our veterinary, animal husbandry, welfare, research expertise that can come together to share with the nearly 1 million guests that we see each year at the zoo. So very excited to share that as we go forward. And here are the 10 species that we are prioritizing for our conservation efforts in the coming years. We have over 100 species at the zoo and thousands that are threatened in the wild. And we have to ultimately take time to focus to decide where we can make the greatest impact. And so these are the species that we're going to be keying in on. We're not forgetting a lot of the others. That work will continue, but this is where our primary focus will be. And we chose those 10 species, as you see our wolves here, because of their connection to those pillars that I just shared, and our history and our track record of doing this work, the partnerships and the strength of partnerships that we have with conservation organizations in the field is so important. If you caught that slide real quick and you saw elephants on there, while we don't have elephants, and as you can see in this video, we will continue to fight for elephants in the wild. It's something that we've been doing for many, many years since the 1980s. So we'll soon be releasing this full conservation plan by email and on our website, and we'll hope you will take action in joining us to support this work. This year, specifically, you will hear more about in the coming weeks and months. Our key focus is going to be on coexistence. Incredibly important to ensure that animals are surviving and humans are thriving. And we will bring light to the issues of coexistence in our own urban backyards. And you saw it, hopefully just today, of the mountain lions that we rescued from Portola Valley, working with the Mid-Peninsula Open Space Trust and the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. But there are many issues around coexistence with a lot of animals that maybe don't get as much attention, whether they're raccoons or squirrels to coyotes, that need our attention as well. And of course, 2025 is the year of the snake. It's the perfect opportunity to learn and lean into our empathy and understanding for animals that, often may be misperceived or even certainly strike fear in people. This world is for all of us, people and wildlife, to thrive together. I think I saw a couple of comments about Glofari tonight, and I just wanted to share just how wonderful this event has been now in our 5th year. Again, thank you to this community of supporters and friends and those who share our story. We couldn't be more proud, and I'm proud to provide an event like Glofari that so many of you have enjoyed over the years. So please keep engaging with us, keep supporting us, spread the word of what this zoo does in the community and for wildlife. There's so many ways to do that, whether you are a member, and thank you, through your service or your philanthropy or many of the other ways that you engage. We really, really appreciate it. And certainly we need you, especially now as well. So thank you for tuning in. I'm going to hand it back to Ella Jean Grossman to formally close out our 2025 annual meeting, and really look forward to seeing all of you at the zoo. And thank you again for your deep support and commitment to all of us.
Thank you again for joining us tonight and for your incredible support, whether as members, donors, volunteers, staff, or all of the above. We are humbled and grateful for our community, which keeps us operating and motivates us to serve you as well as our mammals. Please enjoy one more round of our 2024 recap video. Good night. Thank you again for taking action for wildlife. This annual meeting is formally adjourned. Good night.
Oakland Zoo has once again been recognized as a world-class facility when it comes to animal care, education, and conservation. For the 36th year in a row, the zoo has received accreditation from the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, what is considered the gold standard for facilities.
Australia is now in the care of the zoo's veterinary hospital.
Bison from the Oakland Zoo, they're heading back to Montana to help them restore bison to their native area.